Hello, everyone, and welcome to From Dial Square to Where. This is a positivity episode, and it's unbelievable because we've got Glenn on the show, and it's
What?
going to be a positivity episode.
I'm way more positive than you. Go on.
Well,
Go on. Go on.
And Ryan, how are you?
yeah, I'm all right, thanks. How you doing yourself?
I'm
No,
not bad, thank you. Not bad at all.
yeah,
Not
I know
bad. And obviously, the way that I'd like the podcast to go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the football, and I think we've got a lot of positives to look at. And Alonso, great to have you back. It's been a
Yeah,
while. How
man.
are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Just trying to stay healthy. I'm good. I'm all right.
That is so cool. He sounds just like Darth Vader. How cool is that? How cool is that?
What's the lockdown like over there now? Because of it's been loosened a lot over here now over the last couple of days. We're allowed to do a lot more. In fact, old Boris has made another announcement. I haven't actually had a chance to read it yet, or whatever. I don't know. There's some more loosening of the restrictions today, but.
Yeah, it is basically what it is. What we all knew in the UK originally about the zoos and all this, the shops opening on Monday, but as of this weekend, anyone that lives on their own or has children under the age of 18 can now build a bubble with another household and have another household come into their house.
Build a bubble.
That's
Like-
what
like-
So I've actually got to go and build a bubble.
Oh, please tell me it's like Bubble Boy from Seinfeld. Please.
No, that was his exact words. A bubble.
Oh, right, okay. That means you laugh. We're all going to have a bubble bath, a laugh.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Hello, Carol, watching. And nice to have you here as well. Now, I'm going to start off. Glenn, you made a request to talk a little bit about the coverage of the football over in the States.
Well, this applies to you guys too. Here in the States, in the Bundesliga, they give the TV audience fake crowd noise. I freaking hate it. And I just read an article that when football comes back in the UK, at least you guys have the option of fake crowd noise, or just hearing the players yelling at each other and the coaches. Do any of you guys want fake noise? That's all I'm asking. I don't know if I'm overreacting or not.
So, Glenn, I watched the Bundesliga before on TV, and I kind of like it because it gives the players energy to go for glory, I guess. It gives the players a sense of, maybe it is false noise, but maybe it's kind of gives them a good idea. I don't know, but I kind of like it.
Okay. All right, I just want to say one correction. The players can't hear it. Only the audience can hear it.
Well, then, I guess it gives us. I like it because it gives us the fans false noise, I guess, and I kind of like that. I don't like just static, no noise.
Okay, Alonso, I am in the minority. The majority of people here in America agree with you. Ryan and Andrew, I'll drop it after you guys answer the question. Are you going to take the option for fake crowd noise?
I've already answered this to Glenn, but he's obviously got a memory like a sieve, so I'll leave it to you, Ryan.
What? Who are you?
Personally, no, that would drive me nuts. Hearing that fake noise, hearing that noise, and seeing you're physically seeing there's no one there, so that just drive me mad. And I would rather just.
Well, the thing is that I think the TV companies they've completely changed the angle of the cameras by all accounts, and so you can no longer see any of the stands.
Well, in the Bundesliga, Andrew, you could see the crowds empty and hear the fake crowd noise.
I think that, well, this is what I've been hearing anyway. But anyway, I'm totally happy with anyone to have the choice. I don't think it should be forced on anyone, but I think you should have the choice. And I'm like Alonso, I'm going to give it a go with both. But when I started watching the Bundesliga very, very briefly, because I literally got up after 10 minutes and did the washing up because I was really bored. So I'm not into it at all. So, but I didn't like the sound of it because it sounded like a five-a-side match between mates in a gym, like an indoor hall. And I didn't like it. It might grow on me. And I would want to listen to a bit of what the coaches are shouting, the players are shouting, and everything. But I'd still like the option of maybe having the crowd noise on every now and then as well, just for that. Try and con myself that it's a normal match. But I totally understand your point of view, Glenn, and yours, Ryder. You don't want it. So I think as long as you got the choice, there's no issue, is there? No issue at all.
Excuse me for a second, guys. Can someone please let the dogs in? I'm
It's all right.
doing a show.
We're only live. You didn't have to mute your mic or anything, Glenn. That's fine.
Oh,
You carry on.
okay. And then
Jesus Christ.
every time
So professional, aren't we?
every time I mute my, all right, whatever. Sorry. Go ahead. What were you
Hi,
babbling
Ray.
about? Are you done talking about the crowds now?
Am I done? You wanted to bring it up, you stupid muppet. I didn't. Anyway, yeah, let's move on. Anyway, this is a positivity podcast because I think we've got a lot to look forward to, and it's doing my head in that already. Especially this afternoon, we've lost a warm-up game against Brentford, and
Friendly.
the whole of
Friendly.
Twitter is melting down apparently.
Oh,
So,
no.
I mean, I've seen it.
It is.
And absolute
it's
joke.
ridiculous.
Absolute joke.
And Georgia scored a game.
Sorry?
Was a scored a game.
It was 3-2. We were 2-0 up at half time. And I presume Arteta completely changed the team again at half time.
And we lost
I don't
3-2.
know, but I presume he did because that's what he did against Charlton, and they scored 3 goals in the second half. First things first, it's a pre-season friendly. Well, not pre-season, but you know what I mean.
But it's a friend, yeah.
It's to get our fitness up.
Yeah.
And Brentford are actually a really good team. They're one of the favourites to be in the playoffs in the Championship, and they might be a Premier League team next season. But anyway, regardless of that, it's meaningless. So it's a joke.
That's what I've been saying for the last hour on Twitter with the Twitter meltdown that we have in our fan base. Drives me mad. It's a friendly to get fitness ready for next week. The more important game is next week.
Exactly, yeah. Players ain't going to want to get injured at the moment, are they? And I bet they were at 50, 60% maybe because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And all these games were for these games were to get fitness, nothing else. Get the fitness up ready. So there's no excuses come next week.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
it doesn't
And a
mean
meltdown.
anything.
And as Andrew says, Brentford are one of the teams that could be a Premier League team next season. They're a decent side. This is a team whose second team ran Leicester City's team very close and were very unlucky in the FA Cup this season.
Yeah, I know.
But people forget this.
I know.
It's just a mentality. It does my head in that we expect to win every game. It's a friendly. It's not a competitive game.
But what positive came out of it for me, because I only had I've had no more than about 5 to 10 minutes maximum on Twitter, and I saw a lot of Chelsea fans and Man United fans already on there giving us complete grief because we lost against Brentford, a warm-up game, saying, "Oh, these guys think they're going to beat Man City and next week, blah 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 blah," and giving us banter, and that says to me that they're worried about Arsenal. They're worried about Arsenal. It's just anyway. It doesn't mean anything. I don't. Oh, here we are. Carol, thank you. Put the team on. She's heard it was quite a strong team, and I don't know whether it was that first half, Carol, or second half. But she said Bellerin, Tierney, Guendouzi, Lacazette. Not sure who was in goal. Probably Martinez, but. Against Charlton, I think he played 2 completely different sides in each half, didn't he? So I don't know. I know Lacazette got a goal, and I think it was Willett got the other one.
Yeah, but guys, I don't know why. I know you guys aren't doing it, but I don't understand why why so many people put so much into this. If you remember the real preseason, the real preseason we had, the first couple of games, and Nketiah was like, the next great thing, and next thing you know, he's out on loan. It's it doesn't mean anything, and I don't understand why people get so reactionary about it. Is there anybody above 8 years old on Twitter besides us? I don't understand.
I know it doesn't mean anything at the moment regarding these particular games, but anyway, I want to move on to sort of the main sort of topics here, really, because what's really been annoying me is that our extremely promising academy players that are coming through, and I don't understand why people aren't excited about these kids coming through, because to me, being an Arsenal fan as long as I have, it's literally got the same feeling as like the late 80s all over again when we had Michael Thomas, David Rocastle, Tony Adams, Martin Keown, Ray Park, all these great players coming through from the academy after George Graham took over. And he started all over, literally ripped up the sheet and started all over again and brought all these great players through that brought us all that success. And I've got the same kind of feeling with all this crop of players that are coming through. And you see, and I scrolled through Twitter. I didn't have long, but I couldn't find the actual specific tweet. But there was someone put a message out there saying, "What do you think of?" And it was this particular one was about Zach Medley. And do you think Zach Medley will ever get a chance in the first team or make it?
I
at
hope
Arsenal?
so.
And I don't know if you've seen this kid, right? But I mean, this kid he's 6'5". He's really, really quick. He's had an excellent career in the under 23 so far. He's really highly thought of. Never had a chance in the first team. I'm going to ask you a question. And this is going to sound really crazy, and people that are listening or watching might think, this is a crazy question. I'll go to you first, Alonso, actually. What is the difference between Zach Medley and Dayot Upamecano? It's a strange question, but it's got a point to it.
I think because Upamecano came from Germany, and he's been a veteran over there for quite a few years now. And he's kind of a big name. He's established himself as a young, talented fullback or center back. So with that, I think he actually has some value to him. But Zach Medley, from what I've heard and what I've seen, he's got talent. And this is why I don't understand why us fans tend to want the big name players to come to Arsenal whenever we have players that could have potential. And whenever their time is coming, they get either let go by the club or they don't get enough chances to succeed, and so they get thrown by the wayside, which I don't want happen to Medley. I think he has a lot of talent. I think there's, of course, time to improve, but I would want our returning players to stay, not leave. And he could be talented, but we don't know. So I think it'd be a waste of money to get a player that doesn't know the league very well. And it's a chance. It's always a risk. But I think we should just give Medley a chance as well.
Can I answer?
What's the answer to this question, Glenn? What's the difference between Upamecano and Zach Medley?
All right, Upamecano is further along in his development, and I think that he could, start quick. That is the difference. And Medley, I love Medley, absolutely love him. But he's got it. I also trust in Arteta that he's going to find some way to get this kid experience, because I really, really like him a lot. And but right now, I would take Upamecano because he's further along in his development, and he could probably fit right into the squad.
Ryan, what's your answer to that question?
Well, same as Glenn. And also, but I don't. My gripe is, why can't we have both? Yeah, go and get Upamecano, bring him in. Even though he's still young, learning his trade, because he's got experience. He used that to bring up the likes of Zach Medley. What's that?
You've just hit the nail on the head. That's the answer I wanted, though. Is he's got the experience because he's had a manager behind him who was brave enough to thrust him in the team, because he's 21, I believe, Upamecano. Zach Medley's 20.
Yeah.
Now, he had a manager that was brave enough to actually give him that opportunity. Now, just say you swap them round. Now, I'm not saying that Zach Medley is going to be a really good player. He's going to be at the standard of Upamecano. Upamecano is clearly much more advanced at the moment because he's had over one whole season, I think it's 18 months, in the first team already at 21.
All right,
who knows whether Zach Medley is good enough at the moment?
All right, stop screaming. We all agree. Here's here, you know what why I trust Arteta to give Medley a chance, and that we won't see him, in another shirt being a superstar, is what he said about Mustafi, and people brought up all the mistakes that we all hate, and you know what Arteta said? He said, I could fix those Mustafi mistakes. So I'm confident we have a manager that knows what the heck he's doing, and I think Medley will get his shot.
Yeah, exactly. Now, in the past, we haven't had that. So, what I hate is when people say, "No, he's not good enough." How does anyone know if Zach Medley is good enough at the moment? No one can say that he's not good enough because he hasn't had a chance in the first team. So that annoys me. He could be extremely valuable because he can play left back as well. He can play left back.
Yes, I completely agree. I do not want that Gnabry feeling all over again, but this time with someone on defense. Give him his chance, and I'm confident Arteta will.
Exactly. And the same thing goes. I'll move on to Eddie Nketiah. Now, Eddie Nketiah is. Now, I'm not going to sort of name names or anything like that. But I've seen so many reports about Eddie Nketiah, and what makes me really almost laugh, because it is quite laughable, is that Eddie is just a poacher. I hear Eddie just scores goals. It's not enough in the modern game. I heard those words, and I'm sorry, but give me a new sort of Ian Wright style player who will just bang them in left, right, and centre, rather than another. Someone like Lacazette, for example. And I'm not. This is just an example. I'm not rubbishing Lacazette or anything of the sort. But what I want in my centre forward is goals. Goals are the most valuable commodity in the whole of football. And at the end of the day, everyone on the pitch, all 11 players and 10 outfield players, their whole overriding aim is to score more goals than the opposition. So that's why you put all the players on the pitch in the first place. So Eddie is a born finisher. Why wouldn't you want that in your team and in your squad? And I've seen, again, on Twitter, Eddie is not good enough. Eddie isn't good enough. He's never going to make it at Arsenal. He's never going to... And it's driving me absolutely mad, because he is a natural born finisher. You can't teach a lot of the stuff that he's naturally got.
Okay. If the Arsenal higher ups are as split as the fan base on Nketiah, I think he needs to go on loan to a team that will use him, not like last season. And let's see what he's got. We'll know he's going to start most of the games for whatever team he's on loan at. Let's see what he's got. We got enough people to play, up forward, that he can go on loan again.
I think that Arteta can actually see what he should see. I think he's got a lot of faith in him. Let's not forget, before the shutdown, he was in the team pretty much every game in the last few games.
Andrew,
he almost scored every game as well.
Andrew, who did Nketiah score against? Did he start?
He scored against Everton, Newcastle.
That's right. No.
He hit the... Didn't he hit the... He hit
the
bar.
Against.
The only game he didn't score in, he hit the bar as well, and he's very unlucky. Do you know what I mean? It almost seems like about 3 years ago since the shutdown. But he definitely scored against Everton. He definitely scored against Newcastle.
Okay. All right. All three of you want him. Who are you going to bench? Tell me who you're going to bench. All three of you. You're all in love with him. Who are you going to bench?
I don't... Go on, Ryan.
Strength in depth. What for years we've
exactly
strength in depth. And
Portsmouth, thank you, Ray. He scored against Portsmouth.
People are gonna be dropped. He might be dropped for a few games. It's just all about squad rotation now.
What I think is that he should ultimately, because, and this is only if we could even get a buyer. I think that we should, as much as I hate to say it, because I still do like the guy, because I think it's off-field problems that's caused him to have on-field problems, if you know what I mean.
Who are you talking about?
Lacazette. I think we should sell Lacazette. And I think Eddie Nketiah should replace him in the squad. But, and bear with me, he should be on the bench, because I don't think Lacazette should play at the moment anyway. because I think I would love to see a front three of Pepe, Aubameyang, and on the left a rotation of Saka and Martinelli.
Real quick, and then I'll shut up. I forget buying. I'll swap Laka for Partey, and that's what
Absolutely.
I want. That's what I want to do.
Absolutely. So at the moment, I don't think Lacazette makes the first 11 if we put our strongest team out on the pitch. I don't think we should accommodate players anymore.
No.
And I think that Eddie Nketiah is a more than capable deputy on the bench to come on to score goals. And I think we have to be clever with the way that we're going to start building the squad moving forward. And I think that we can make some money or a swap with someone like Lacazette because he's got value still at the moment.
And let's not forget, Arteta did have a chance to loan him out in January. But literally, like the last couple of weeks, the last week or two before the window closed, he decided no. He saw something on the training field when he brought him back that he thought would benefit us, and it has worked.
Exactly.
So I clearly see something in him.
I think it's a pretty safe bet that either Laka or Aubameyang are in their last season at Arsenal, and I'd rather see Nketiah play full-time for a team on loan. I understand what you guys are saying about depth, and I respect it, and I'm not even arguing with it. It's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So what would you keep Lacazette in an ideal world?
No, I told you my ideal world. It's a perfect swap for both teams. Lacazette for Partey. We're both filling a need. I don't understand why it hasn't been done yet.
So so with the swap for Laka and Partey, you'd still load out Nketiah.
No, then I'd keep him. Why'd you say that 5 minutes ago?
Come on, Glenn.
No worries. Well, going through another thing that was doing my head in as well on Twitter was about how Chelsea, City, United, and Spurs are all going to be outspending us in the market, and we're going to be left behind, and we're going to be dropping down the table rather than,
we hear this every year,
looking over our shoulders rather than looking ahead, looking upwards. And this is, again, and my answer to that was, it doesn't matter about the money, right? Well, Man United are managed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so whatever they can buy whoever they like. They ain't going to go nowhere. Chelsea have got Frank Lampard, who I'm not going to say he isn't going to be a good coach and moving forward, but he's not at the same ballpark or level as Mikel Arteta, in my opinion. Mikel Arteta pisses all over him tactical wise and coaching wise, and then you've got Mourinho, who is still planting all the bombs underneath that new toilet bowl of a stadium, waiting for it to blow up. And Pep is Pep, but their form dipped after Mikel Arteta left, and it says it all to me. But he's also not going to be there forever. He's not going to be there for much more than a season or so.
I think he's gone after this season. I think
exactly, yeah, and he may well be, because that court case was a few days ago, wasn't it? So we're going to find out the results of that within the next 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Well,
and they might still be out. That whole club could implode after that. But anyway,
just on that, we've apparently UEFA come out and said we'll find out in July.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just waiting. We're just waiting for Manchester City to give us a little bit more money, and then we'll figure this whole thing out.
Well,
my God.
My answer to all of that stuff, anyway, is that we've got Arteta, and at the moment, and I know it sounds stupid, but regardless of our incomings and outgoings and blah blah blah, I'm just so happy that we got Mikel Arteta, because I really believe in the guy. I think everything that he said, during this shutdown as well, everything I've seen on YouTube just fills me full of confidence. And I think our young players, which I keep going back to, are so underestimated at the moment. I've got a lot of belief in these kids as well, because we can't lose sight of the fact that they've all been together for such a long time now. I mean, apart from Martinelli, obviously, who's come in, but our core group of academy graduates have been together since they were like 9, 10, 11 years old. And I think you cannot underestimate that bond that they've formed of wanting to play together in the first team for Arsenal. They will fight for each other, and they will do anything for each other. So that is something that we really should look after and sort of make sure it flourishes. I mean, Glenn, what do you think about that?
Well, let Alonso answer first. He's just sitting there so quietly. Someone's going to throw dirt on him. So, yeah, you
I
answer
thought
first.
someone's
Alonso.
under his desk, like tickling his balls or something.
No, let him. I feel like I hog too much the talking time.
Well, I'm excited because with the core group we have, it kind of benefits Arsenal and England as well. England being the Lions. So, because the majority of them are from England, so it will help them out as well. And it's just fun to watch. I think it reminds me a lot of the back in the late 2000s when we had Wilcott, Wilshire, Ramsey, and those core guys. Even though most of them didn't come from the academy, I think this one's even better. I think you have Willock, you have Reese Nelson, you have Reyes Swiss Rowe, you have Saka. So I think these guys have a bond, and I think if they stay together, look out. I think you might want to compare them to 2092 with Manchester United because they're that talented and that special. That it's just amazing to see. Then and most importantly, they're Arsenal through and through, and so they want to be here. And I think Arteta has made a difference in that. That's just my opinion.
Yes, I completely agree. I think in Arteta we have our own Chris Wilder, who the players believe in, and he can motivate them. That's why I think we're going to hit the ground running against Manchester City, and I think we're going to win that game. As far as your other things, I agree with you, Andrew. We have probably the most exciting group of young players, but here's where I disagree with you a little bit. We have to compete with these billionaire oil company owners, okay? And now Newcastle's probably going to have one too. So luckily we have a front office that is good in spotting talent, but we're going to have to be ruthless. We might have to swap one of those younger players to get a more veteran player in. But otherwise, I completely agree with everything you said.
Well, I'll just go through some of these comments. Let's have a look. Now, Ray said he heard that the ex-Arsenal youngster Josh Da Silva scored and slid around in celebration. Willock and Laka scored. Oh, so Josh Da Silva was for Brentford. Sorry, that's Carol said that. I do beg your pardon, Carol. Our most potent front three, says Ray, is Pepe, Alba, Martinelli. I think that's about right. With I sort of, like I said, definitely wouldn't leave Saka out of that as well. Carol, I would have been on a hurry to offload. I wouldn't be hurrying to offload players until we know if we can replace them. That's a very good point. Exactly, Carol. Fifth place isn't really up for grabs, right? Cazorla might be coming in as coach or director of football.
What?
He said.
Let him play one more season. Get over here and play one more season. He can be back up.
He might well be.
I don't want to see him in a suit watching from the press box. Let him put your shorts on, and then next year you can put a suit on. No way.
I wouldn't put him through that in the Premier League. His legs have been through enough, I think. Carol, where did you see that? Is that a direct quote from Cazorla? I'd be interested to know that. And Melvin, hi Melvin. It's all right playing all these kids, but the other players have to step up to the plate or it could destroy them. And I replied to that saying I was coming on to that. And that isn't another big thing that I'm actually really confident about, because we know that we the only unbeaten team in 2020. We're doing well. We're on a good run. We were drawing too many games, but those games we would have lost under Emery. Absolutely no shadow of a doubt. We were going in the right direction. We're a lot more solid, a lot harder to beat, and we won in the last 3 games. Yes, we had a bit of luck here and there. However, the players are responding to his his tactical tweaks and the way that he's been managing. But this break that he's had initially, and I've turned full circle on my thoughts on this, because initially I thought it was going to be a bad thing for Mikel Arteta, and I thought, well, he's had a nightmare start to his managerial career with everything that's happened and the way that the club, the state it was in when he arrived. But I think it's actually been a really good time for him, because he's had so much thinking time, and he's had an awful lot of time speaking to the players on a one-on-one basis and as a group. I think he would have had so much opportunity to actually lay out his plans and thoughts for the future of the team moving forward and the way he wants them to play. So I think that we're going to see the best of them for the remainder of this season and sort of in the lead up to next. It just depends on David Luiz for me, and I'll come round to your thoughts on him. I think we really need to try and keep him, without a shadow of a doubt, because we can't replace him at the moment. We know that, and he is a true leader, and the young players especially respond to him. You know, especially Martinelli, with obviously the fact they're both Brazilian. They've got a tight bond apparently. They're really good mates, and I think we really need to put a lot into keeping him. What do you think, you guys, on
I want to keep him. He's a leader, and he's still a great distributor from the back.
Yeah, I think so as well. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, same here. And also, I think I've heard in the last couple of days that there is talks of him actually staying now for another year.
Yes.
Good.
Excellent.
That's what I've heard.
Excellent.
It's not gospel, so don't.
Oh, all right. Could be paper talk.
Well,
Stupid me.
Yeah.
It was widely
UK.
reported about this 23 million and blah 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 for the season, but we haven't got to pay a lot of that again. You know, we've got to pay his. We're not going to have to pay another loan fee or big agents fee or anything like that. It's just his wages, so it's not going to be anywhere near that amount to keep him for another year. What do you want to keep him as well, Alonso? Is it a full house?
At first, I did not want him to come to Arsenal, but I think watching him on games, watching him talk to guys like Mustafi and Martinelli, I think that he's made a difference, and he's been a captain in the back center. The defensive part of the game, he's been a good captain, I guess, for those guys in the back. I think that I would want him to stay because he means a lot to Martinelli and I think not only him but also the South American kids as well.
Absolutely, I think he's been a great leader on the pitch, and I'm glad if he does stay for another year. The other thing is, when it comes to the elder statesmen of the team, if you like, as well, I think they've got a different attitude. I've just seen a different attitude in them since he's arrived, and I think that's only going to have got better during this lockdown. I think we're going to be going all out the rest of this season, and I've been saying all along that I'm not going to say we're going to win, but I don't think we're going to lose against City. If we can get some kind of result against City, whether that's just a draw or just avoid defeat even, I think we will.
It's the tone setter for the rest of the season.
Well,
we win,
is.
And it's a top 4 run.
I don't think it's the end of the world if we lose against them. I'll put it that way. I don't think it is. Because at the end of the day, they're City, and they're going to be passing us to death. But I am still confident we ain't going to lose. But it's not the end of the world if we do. I still think we're going to have a good end to the season. But I do think that the older players are going to step up and help, and also the younger players. I think we should play a few young players against City because they will also set the tone. And the more experienced players ain't going to want to be, outshone and outclassed by our youngsters, are they, at the end of the day? So it's only going to help all round, I think.
Healthy competition, 5 substitutions. I'm very confident because we got a deep bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I think it's going to be it's going to be fascinating, actually, how the managers through the league are going to use these 5 subs, tactically. I don't think it's just going to be replacing players just to stop them from being injured and to give them a breather. I think it's going to be used very tactically as well, so it's going to be quite fascinating.
Well, I'm not going to complain, if Arteta leaves people out, but I hope he doesn't do like I watched the first 2 Dortmund games and Sancho was on the bench to start the game. I'm like, what the? That's the whole reason I'm watching.
I think he had a bit of a knock, didn't he? Yeah. But
but he came into the game. He came into the game both times later. I
don't think he was quite ready, but I'll tell you, he's a different class at the moment, isn't he? My God. Carol says, I think Arteta is a different class to Wilder. I don't think Sheffield United would do well next season. That's an interesting one, Carol. But I think Arteta is a different class to him, but you can't underestimate him. I think they are going to be tough. I think Sheffield United are going to be really ready for this restart, and I'm quite worried about them. I heard an interview with Ollie Norwood on the BBC Football Daily podcast, and he was literally so confident. And he said they were ready to start, whenever. They've been ready all the time. They've kept them. They were actually fitter. Their analytics came back that they were fitter than when last summer before the start of the season just gone. So I think we need to worry about them. However, it's just down to how the lack of crowd in their stadium is going to affect them. Because I think that gives them quite a big lift. So fingers crossed.
We've seen in the Bundesliga as well. So when the Knights of Bayern Munich go to these lesser teams, without that crowd, they're just rolling over the teams now.
Yeah.
With ease. So I think we're going to see a similar thing in the Premier League now. Like Arsenal going to Brighton on the first weekend, and Norwich at home and things. We're going to see a lot of that now. The bigger teams steamrolling the lesser teams. That's to expect.
Well, we only just lost to them last season away. I keep saying last season, earlier this season. But we should have had a penalty as well. You remember Socrates was pulled back?
Yeah.
We played appallingly in that match. We only lost 1-0 under Unai Emery. So I'm really confident that we'll beat them in the FA Cup.
Can we do a Lord of the Rings thing with Unai Emery and make it the name that is never mentioned? Because every time I hear his name, I get so friggin' annoyed. So maybe next time you could say, "Remember the last coach, the name who shall not be mentioned." It just because it hurts my stomach when I hear his name.
Well, if Mourinho's the special one, he's the greasy one, shall we say?
Oh God, no! Just good evening, one. Holy crap!
It gives me stomach acid when I even think about the fella, so I don't even want. I'm quite happy to do that.
He doesn't shut up though. Every week or two, he pops up with some other excuse why he got sacked and why it didn't work out.
Yeah,
you know what it's like. Remember when David Moyes just flamed out at Manchester United, and his career was basically over. His reputation was over. Unai Emery had the name that shall not be mentioned. Had a pretty good rep. And now nobody wants to hire him. He's saying, "Oh, my girlfriend made me do that." Whatever the hell he was saying a few months ago.
He'll come out next time with holding one of those voodoo doll things with keys in it. This is the reason I lost.
Oh my!
Apparently, Cazorla said Arteta has asked him to come back. His contract finishes in Spain this year. He doesn't want to, or he doesn't think he wants to carry on playing. He said he sees his future role as more something for football, as more for football. That's really interesting. I have to sort of search that out. But it'd be great to have him back to coach the kids. It's really inspirational. Ray said, Glenn is right. It will set the tone. Our toughest game first. I think it is the best game that we could have had possibly because we're going to be really up for that game. And if anyone, I've said this 100 times, I do apologise for repeating myself, but if anyone knows how to beat Man City, it's Arteta. He's going to know them inside out and all their players.
There's no coincidence.
Say that again, Ryan.
There's no coincidence as well with Man City. We know they were poor this season, the first half, but the second he's left have got even worse.
Yeah, I know.
You're seeing.
I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm just stopping the camera. I'll be right back.
Mute your mic. I don't want to hear you shouting at your family.
That Andrew is such a dick. Let me tell you, I can't stand that fucking. I'm so glad that I'm taking a break from him. Oops, forgot to turn off my mic.
But as I was saying, we have seen since Arteta Pep's tried doing different things with Man City, and the players are rejecting that, and it's affecting their performances. That's why we could see Liverpool win the title next weekend at Goodison Park if we obviously win against City.
Exactly, yeah. De Bruyne looks overweight since he came back.
Huge, like,
Well, you know what? You know what happened?
Chelsea Dope give him one for his money.
You know when people break up with their, someone and they sit there and eating like ice cream on the sofa, crying, watching sad films or something. I reckon that's what's happened with the players since Arteta left. They're all missing him badly, and he's broken their hearts and all that sort of stuff. So they're all putting on weight and giving up. They're all sitting there with jogging bottoms on and stuffing their face with Haagen-Dazs.
You see Lacazette and Tavera literally ready to go. Like, come on, then.
Do you know what? I'm really confident about it. That if we can just beat them, then.
Also, the senior players had us speaking about Arteta during this lockdown period. Had us spoke about how he'd been interacting with the players individually as a group on Zoom or whatever, constantly. Even Martinelli the other day was saying he tasked me in the sense of, we look back at the Olympiacos game. He sent me off to do some homework about it. I've come back. He asked me, what did I notice I did wrong? What can I improve on? And then Arteta gave his feedback, and it's helping him. Even Kieran Tierney's like singing these praises as well.
Hey Ryan, did you watch that on the video with Torreira and Emilio Martinez and Martinelli? Was that the video you're talking about? That was a good video.
Yeah.
And, I don't think I've seen that one actually.
It's on the Arsenal channel.
I'll tell you what I saw this morning. Arsblog posted it on Twitter this morning. It was an interview that with Steve Round.
Steve Round.
Did you watch it?
I haven't watched it. I've read some of the notes that have come out. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I will.
But it's nearly an hour long, and it's really, really good. And that's another reason to be really positive. I'll tell you, if you don't know much about Steve Round, watch this video and get a little bit more about his background and what he's done and who he's worked with, like Man United, England. The guy is really, really encouraging, and he said because he managed Arteta before or worked with him. It's escaped my mind slightly. I think he actually managed him before, or definitely worked with him. But he said that when Arteta called him and asked him to come, he didn't even hesitate. He said that Arteta, in his mind, is not only going to be the best coach in the UK, he's going to be one of the best coaches in the world. He's got no doubt about it. He had no hesitation to come and work for him, and gave a lot of background information about the setup and how they work, and how they work with the players, and it's all really, really encouraging. So definitely give you the link in the notes afterwards or obviously search Arsblog on Twitter, and he put the link out there this morning. But it was worth a watch.
Arsenal fans are never going to totally agree on anything, but I think the majority of fans realized that before this, enforced break, we were getting a little bit better every game, and we had a nice little run going, and I think that's very positive. Plus, Arteta says all the right things. The players seem inspired by him, But like I said, not everybody's going to agree, but I'm confident, very confident.
It's funny how he spoke to Ian Wright. And he had nothing but good things to say about his training, about the way he does things. So as an Arsenal fan, you got to be encouraged by that. And also, being as captain like Arteta was, he knows the Arsenal way. And I think that's so important when we hired him. He knows what it takes. He knows what it takes to win the FA Cup. So I think it kind of all comes around. And
yeah.
All right, before the show is over, Alonso has to say, Luke, I am your father. Okay, go ahead, Andrew. Andrew, go ahead.
Carol said, last season you can bet Arsene Wenger would definitely have beaten at least one of Palace or Brighton at home to secure top four. Even if we're on a bad run, he would have done it well. I think anyone managing us apart from the greasy one, would have beaten one of those teams.
I'll give you
down on it. Go ahead.
I'll give you an example about how she's right, because he beat a fifth place Arsenal, beat the champions in the FA Cup final, and people would say we would lose that game. So she's right about winning the big games.
Yeah, I think I said this on Ryan's show. Remember when we had our top 4 fate in our hand last year, and he started El Neni and Guendouzi in midfield, and oh my God, Palace. And
I'm getting acid reflux just thinking about it.
You brought it up, old man.
I didn't. Carol did.
Sorry, Carol.
Cedric not in the team or the bench. Will he ever play? I think I'm right in saying he's got a fractured cheekbone, isn't he, or something?
He's wearing a mask, so I think so.
Yeah, I don't think he's available, Carol. I think it's either his eye socket or cheekbone or something. He's got someone headbutted him in the training, I think, but accidentally clash of heads. So
I'm sorry, who was that? Who I was
Cedric Suarez.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's going to keep him out for long, though, so that's positive. Hopefully, we will see him before the end of the season to see if it's worth keep. But I'm pretty much sure that he's already an Arsenal player, if I'm honest. I think he will be.
So you think he'll stay at Arsenal?
Yeah, I do. I think because he can play, by all accounts, Arteta said that he can play a defensive midfield role as well as wing back or full-back. So I think he's going to be quite a handy person to have for free in this current climate.
All part of squad building. I'm completely on board with that. You know, he's a good squad player who's flexible. Yep, sign me up.
He won the Euros with Portugal, so you're not going to win the Euros with Portugal if you're a crap player, or play in the Premier League. So at the end of the day, yes, exactly right, Glenn. He's going to boost the squad. He's ready for the Premier League. He's got a lot of experience in the Premier League. So, yeah, I've got no issue with him.
The only problem is we have like 8 center backs right now.
No, he's not a centre back.
I know, but he can. He can play wing. He can play center back. He can play a little. I understand that, but
I know.
We have players that have to go.
Yeah,
out on loan, or
I think he's trying to get. He wants to get rid of Socrates and Mustafi, the top 2 centre backs he wants to get rid of.
Yeah.
I can see if it's only one of the 2, I would make it Socrates.
Yeah.
It moves me on to the next player I wanted to talk about again, which I really get annoyed listening to all the negativity about, and that's Callum. I always get them mixed up. Sorry, not Callum Chambers. Rob Holding. Rob Holding is a good player who needs to get that run of the game. If anyone doubts him, all you need to do is watch the 2017 Cup final again, just to remind yourself how good the guy is.
This is a player who bossed Diego Costa in a cup final.
Exactly.
Diego Costa at his peak.
He has been riddled with injuries for 18 months, and when he gets back into the team, people expect him to be back up there 100% from game 1. It just drives me mad.
No, earn your way back into the team. Whether you start, I don't even know if there's going to be any cup games, but let him earn his way back onto the team. I agree with you with his potential, but it's time for him to put up or shut up. That's all I'm saying.
He's got to have a run of games, Glenn. You've got to persevere and expect him to make a few mistakes within the next 2, 3, 4 games.
Okay, so starting
because he's coming back,
I understand it. I'm not saying to get rid of him.
You won't. But he's got to have more than 1 or 2 games in a cup, because he can't play the FA Cup match and then drop out again. You've got to persevere and get him back fit, because the guy is a good player, and it just drives me mad when people write him off if he doesn't hit the ground at 100%.
I get that. All right, so I get that. I understand. Stop telling me that. I agree with you there. I don't understand why you keep going on about it. So you're saying I'm not.
I'm not. It's just your argument.
If I stop talking, you're going to tell us for 4 minutes again how much you love Holding.
I'm going to move on to Pablo Mari.
Wait. So what you're saying? So what you're saying is, starting with Manchester City, you'd have David Luiz and Rob Holding in there.
In an ideal world, I would play Rob Holding for the next 9 games of the rest of the season. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. You don't have to say anything else. Go on to Marie.
I really hope that Pablo Mari is staying as well, and I'm pretty sure, because I've been asked the question if he's staying. I genuinely think he is, because I can't remember the exact amount, but it's somewhere around between 6 and 8 million.
Hey, Andrew, I heard it was 10 million. Maybe I'm
Well,
wrong, but I think it's 10 million.
10
Yeah,
million.
that's a bargain.
It's still a bargain in this
Yeah,
day
it
and
is. It's
age.
a very good
And
bargain.
Of course he's
I
going
think
to
he's a very
stay.
good player.
He went from kicking a grapefruit in the street to Arsenal Football Club. Of course he's going to stay. This is his big break. Why is he going to leave?
Calm down. I didn't say he was.
Hey,
Oh,
man,
okay.
hey, man, how much
You're
coffee
going to
have
bust
you
a
had,
blood
man?
vessel. That vein in your neck is going to wrap itself around you like a snake and strangle you to death one day, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn, how much coffee do you drink, man?
I drink too many energy drinks,
Oh,
Alonso.
man, come
I'm
on, man.
busted. I know. I get hyper.
Hey,
Well,
Andrew,
you have to counteract the spliffs that you have.
Andrew,
with the energy drinks.
I want to make a point. I'm gonna make a
Yeah.
point real quick. So remember a couple of years ago how we Gunners thought that Chambers and Rob Holding were the future center backs of Arsenal,
Yeah.
and it's so disappointing how inside how they both got knee ligament injuries,
Yeah, I know.
and it's like their future is so bright together, and they could still be a good, in my opinion, a good combination. But it's just so sad how
It is sad.
even this year Chambers was on his way, again, and he got hurt, and I was so happy when he scored against who was it, Newcastle, right? He scored against Newcastle, and it was just so I was so happy.
First
For him.
game of the season, yeah.
I was like, yeah, come on, and then he got hurt, and I was like, oh man.
I know. He was having a really good game against Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
That game that we lost, wasn't it? But do you know what? If Party doesn't happen, and unless we can be creative, it's going to be tough. But by all accounts, Tottenham have borrowed 175 million quid from the Bank of England. 175 million. And apparently they're not allowed to spend it on any players. However, they're going to find a way around that. And they're going to spend it on players. For God's sake. It drives me mad. And, that amount could keep all of the English football pyramid going. League Championship down to League One, League Two. But don't get me started on that anyway. But Spurs have lent that money. Apparently we're going to be looking at getting a loan as well as a club because it makes sense because of the interest rates. It's like 0.5% or something, so it's virtually free money. So if we could do something like that and get Thomas Partey, fantastic, but if we couldn't, then I'd love to see Callum Chambers potentially play like a holding midfield role as well, because he's another utility player. I'm not saying he's the answer long term, but he's a useful squad player to have. Similar to what we said about Cedric Suarez. He can play multiple positions. Yes.
Didn't Colin Chambers win the Fulham Player of the Year as defensive midfielder?
Yeah, he played played the whole season there and won their player of the year, didn't he? And very, very promising there. So he's a very useful squad player, and it's great to see him running again. But he's not going to be back until the later part, in the year, which is a shame. But at least he's running again. And it's also a shame. I don't see the reason why he couldn't. But Saliba, it's a shame that he can't play until next year as well, isn't it? It would have been great to see him. Yeah. But hopefully he's going to be joining up the squad, and that will give him a good head start in settling into the team and finding somewhere to live and getting settled before the new season kicks off as well. So that's still positive. I see some more of these comments. Carol said Rob Holding is just as good or better than John Stones. I think he is.
I think anyone's better than John Stones.
Do you know what though? As regards England centre backs, there's not many good ones at the moment, is there? I think Rob Holding, with the Euros being put back a year, if he could get them back into our team, there's no reason he couldn't be an England player next summer in the Euros, because I don't think he's got that much competition, if I'm honest. So it's a good incentive for him. Rob Holding is very good, says Ray. I want him to be given a fair crack to play too. And I think these next 9 games or 10 games or whatever we've got, it would be great just to get him back to fitness. Now, what are you guys' thoughts? I'll go to you first, Glenn, on this one as well. People somehow as well seem to think you've either got to go for it in the league, or shall we go for it in the FA Cup? I mean, at the end of the day, we've only got a maximum of what 13 games left, I think, this season. If we get to the FA Cup final, so I think we should go for it in every single game. Try
Yes.
and win that as well.
I'm not saying I want them to go out and win the league next season. I want a team that competes for the league title every season. That's the excitement that I want. I want them to go all out in every cup competition. That's what I want. I want to compete and you know, if we're in the running for the Premier League title in May, how exciting is that? That's all I want every year. Not to be like, oh, geez, I hope we make a run and we get the sixth, and maybe Manchester City will be eliminated from the Champions League. At the hell with that. Let's compete. That's all I want.
I don't see any reason why not. And I said this last season. People forget as well that was it 2 seasons ago, Liverpool were 25 points behind Man City.
Mm-hmm.
The very next season, they only got beaten by 1 point.
Yeah, I agree with you, dude. I totally agree with you. I think it was your show, Ryan, where Richard said he doesn't think we're going to compete for a league title for 10 seasons, and I think that's ridiculous.
That blew my mind. That's ridiculous.
I think we are a DM and a center back away from being legit. I mean, totally legit.
I think that I agree, and I think that people seriously underestimate the power of good quality coaching. And I think we've got I cannot specify enough. I really think that we've got an amazing coach, and I think we need to put a lot of faith in him. And people just don't take that into account. Look at Sheffield United again. We talked about him earlier. Look at the way that he has turned that team around from its arse, nearly bankrupt, maybe 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And look at them now, and that's only because of a quality coach.
And recruitment as well.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't think there's any reason why we can't.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Let's make this point again. Look at our youngsters, and you look at all the best players in the world. They all started off as academy prospects from somewhere and got given a chance. What's to say that we haven't got the stars that we need in the squad already in one of those or two of those players?
Well, you're going to have to accept mistakes on the job training. I'm not willing to. Yeah. I don't want that now. Give some of the youngsters a chance, but I don't want to. It's the same thing I say about Guendouzi, because I like the kid, but I don't want him starting every game because he's got mistakes in him. I want leaders out there that know what they're doing right now.
Yeah. Hi, Tony. Thanks for watching.
I spoke to Kevin Campbell about this a few weeks ago. I was recording for his channel.
What was that noise in the background? It was a name drop. Sorry. Carry on.
Well,
talking of name drops, did you see? Sorry, I talked about it. Now I'm not going to expand on this. Did you see? I had an argument with Gary Neville on Twitter today.
I haven't seen that.
I had a proper conversation with him on Twitter, but it's about the racism, so I ain't going to go into all that sort of stuff.
Thank you.
Carry on, Ryan. Sorry. What did Kevin Campbell say?
No, I was saying to him, basically, I was comparing Arteta when he's come into the club back in December to when George Graham came in. They're so similar in the situations they're in. When George Graham came in, we were in the absolute dire straits. We weren't competitive, nothing. He's come in, and what another comparison was the youth. He had a good youth setup ready to go, and what's Arteta got? Good youth setup. So there's very similar things there in place, foundations that Arteta can now lay down.
Exactly. I'm doing a show about this on Friday, because I've been thinking about it for about 3-4 weeks now. It was around the anniversary of the '89 triumph. Gave me the idea, because we are exactly the same. Totally agree, Ryan. In a similar position, and I think we can take an awful lot of leaves out of that book, if you like,
as well,
for what George Graham went through and what he did. And I think there's so many similarities and so many things that we can draw upon from that experience. So yeah, I totally agree, and there's too many similarities to be perfectly honest. It's
Both-
quite weird
both-
and quite
both
freaky.
Both played midfield, both ex-players before going into management of Arsenal.
And both were underestimated massively.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't want them
No.
because loads of people didn't want George Graham because he came from Millwall and said, "Oh, he's done nothing." Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of similarities. Now, pretty much start sort of finishing up soon. Now,
I hope so.
what?
Oh, that's nice.
What were your?
You know why? Because my wife just texted me, but I had it on silent mode because I'm tired of you
thank
guys.
fuck for that.
I'm tired
Showed
of
a
you
bit
guys.
professionalism for once.
I'm tired of you guys laughing at me every time I have to
It's
leave.
funny, man. It's funny.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andrew.
Anyway, did you find anything else that you wanted to talk about on the show?
I'd like-
I know, said have a look for some of those negative tweets out there that you maybe want to bring up. What did you sort of find? Did anyone find anything that we haven't really discussed already?
Negative-wise, in terms of football, apart from obviously what's happened today, but that's no overreaction. The only negative tweets I've found were what we've experienced in the last few days, Andrew, which I'm not going to go into.
Oh, I know. No, that's another story altogether, and I've been really affected by all that sort of stuff. So I don't want to go into that because it's in a whole new show altogether, completely separate issues. What about you, Alonso? Oh God, is that your missus again?
That's her new ringtone.
Oh God.
I turned silent mode off.
Oh my God.
I'll be right
Alonso,
back. Hold on.
What about yourself?
So there's news that came out recently that Adidas is not going to renew Ozil's contract, and basically is because of negativity
China.
towards which is kind of discouraging. To be honest with you, because of what Ozil's done in the past to help out his own nonprofit organizations and helping out kids in Africa and what he's done as far as humanitarian work. So I think it's kind of unfair for Adidas to do so.
Yeah, it just shows you that all they care about is looking good, and that's a shame. Yeah, but that's not just Adidas. It's just all big corporations nowadays, and they don't take anything into account other than sales, do they? At the end of the day, but yeah, he's done.
I have to go before my wife comes in here.
No
I
worries,
refuse to let you guys see her drag me out of here. It's shut up. I hear you laughing, Ryan. Ryan's dying to see her kick my ass on camera.
Just a hand comes down and grabs him. You just see a pair of legs shoots up.
Like
It was a pleasure, guys. I'll talk to you all soon, okay?
Take care, mate.
Bye.
Nice to speak to you again.
Yes,
Bye,
same.
Ryan.
Laters. Melvin said, where was it? Does that mean we're going to lose Arteta to Spurs? Absolutely not.
No.
Not in a million years. Arteta inherited a lazy squad. This is Tony Turner that dropped tools. We should be in third place team on paper, and we have been in the form table. The first 10 goes under Arteta. I don't even want to think about it. It makes me too miserable thinking about if we'd have changed the greasy one after the Europa League final when we should have done, where we could be now. It just so annoying.
It's just looking back, that baffles me. What top team at any cup final loses 4-1? Knowing what it meant, meaning Champions League, we missed out on that twice. He messed up in a matter of a month, and he kept his job.
I thought about this before I got on. The pre-match was so negative before because of the location, the allocation of tickets, the formation, Czech versus Leno, who's going to start.
Mkhitaryan.
Mkhitaryan as well. So all those things were just, it was like not going to work out from the beginning. And as Gunners, we stay optimistic, but when reality sits in, the first goal, the first goal went in, you knew it was not going to be good. So,
And exactly, that's why we shouldn't dwell on it too much, really, because let's just look forward with some anticipation to this new season, and let's just see what it brings, because it's just unlike any other start. Well, I know it's not a start of a season. It's just weird, isn't it? It's just weird. But we're continuing the season, but it feels like a new season. But even if it was, it's completely and utterly like nothing we've ever seen before. So we don't know form before it all stopped. It's going to mean nothing, isn't it? And it's just like, who knows what teams are going to be good or be bad, and how they're going to react to all this. It's really hard, isn't it, to understand really how things are going to sort of play out. In my heart of hearts, I still think the bigger teams are going to beat the smaller teams, and it just depends who's going to win the battles between the smaller teams. And I think the bigger teams are just going to carry on going. And also, I really annoying. I wanted to sort of rub Glenn's nose in it, because I listened to a podcast we did a few weeks ago when I said about one of the big teams. All it's going to take is for one of the big teams to make a big purchase, and the rest will start rolling and try and keep up with the Joneses. And he said, no one's going to spend £50 million on a player, not Chelsea, not City. And I said, no, you watch and you wait. And look what's happened with Chelsea. And just proven right with Timo Werner. And that's apparently just the tip of the iceberg. I think they're going to be spending around 150 million this summer.
Hey Glenn, sorry, Andrew. So Ryan, from what I heard, the league, or was it the premier person with the entertainment of England, sorry, said that Kroenke is allowed to dip in some money to Arsenal. Is that true? If so, how does that work out?
Kroenke's going to give us some money, did you say?
From what I heard, yes. Is that not?
I think he's going to service the debts, isn't he? I think he's going to cover the cost. No, guarantee the costs of servicing our debt, which eases some banking restrictions and keeps our, AAA grade credit rating or something along those lines. It doesn't mean that we're going to get an injection of cash for players. No, I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's purely,
I think when it comes to transfers, we're going to do exactly what we did last time. For example, the Pepe deal, agree a fee, but in stages, sort of thing.
Right, payouts.
Over the course of X amount of seasons or whatever, depending on how much.
You know what? I'm not sure though, Ryan. I don't think we're going to do that. Well, in a way, we are. But I genuinely think we're going to borrow some money in the same way that Tottenham did. I think we're going to pay for, if we can get Partey, for example. I think we're going to pay for it. But then obviously, because it's a bank loan, it gives you the option of paying it back over time anyway. And obviously, it's an extremely low interest rate. So we'll probably do something like that. And I'm hoping that we'll do something like that, because someone put on Twitter yesterday, if you could only buy one, who would you buy? Partey or Upamecano? And all day long, as much as I want to from what I said earlier about Zach Medley and Upamecano, I do want us to buy Upamecano. I'm not stupid, because he is further down the line. I was just trying to make a point that people can't write our players off without even watching them play, if you know what I mean. Just if say Eddie Nketiah, for example, I'm going off topic again from what I wanted to just say, but say Eddie Nketiah was playing for a Bundesliga club, Leipzig, for example, people would be creaming themselves thinking, oh, we should go and get him. He's a really promising young player. But because he's an academy player, it's not as exciting, is it? It's like chucking your old toys away on Christmas Day because you've got some nice new fresh ones. Because you've already got them, it's not quite as exciting. So anyway, that's the point I was trying to make. We need to give the kids a chance. But yeah, about Partey and Upamecano, I do want Upamecano, but we've got the biggest problem is for me is midfield, 100%. You know,
Yeah.
and Partey is immediately transformational for our team. I think immediately transformational,
He's a-
over and above a central defender.
and suddenly, if you brought someone like Partey in, or Partey himself, the likes of Tavera, you'll see a lot more from the likes of Lucas, because they're not really sick because of how Xhaka plays. And Guendouzi's so young, you're not getting the best out of Lucas. We're only getting glimpses of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas if you put him next to someone who's seasoned and that's his role basically next to him, who knows what they're doing of, and who's physical as well, you're going to see a lot more of Luke. You'll see a better version of what we've got of Lucas.
I also can't get out. I've said this before. Once again, listeners, I do apologise for repeating myself. I can't get it out of my head that Ceballos will be an absolutely perfect partner for Thomas Partey. Ceballos will be so good.
But I'm saying there's options. That's what got Lucas, got
But
Dave. If he stays on,
it's all whether we can keep Ceballos. That is really irritating me, to be perfectly honest, because it's very difficult to know what to do. Because if we can't get a party or a party type player, I don't think it's worth keeping Ceballos, because he needs someone. He needs someone like him alongside him, like Partey alongside him.
And the games that
But I
before
love him.
the
I love the
pandemic,
guy.
I think that Ceballos and Ozil played good together too. Because
Yeah, sorry, go on.
go ahead.
I was going to say, if we can get, there's an option. I wonder if there's an option whether we can extend Ceballos on loan for another year. That'd be ideal.
and I've heard rumours that they're not an option, but there are discussions about that.
Yeah, but I mean, things have changed, haven't they? The whole financial climate has changed, so it potentially might be back on. Might be possible. I really do hope we can keep him, because I see a great player in there long term. He's still so young, but he's got something that you just can't buy. He's got that enthusiasm and burning, fire in his belly. He loves the club. I can tell that it's true. He loves the club, and you can't fake that. For me, you can't fake it. You just tell. And I think he's an Arsenal player. He gets Arsenal. And that's a really hard thing to find. And like I said, you can't just go out and buy that. He's the right attitude, and he really showed glimpses of what he can do this season under Arteta once he started getting back in the team. So fingers crossed we can get another chance to see him shine, because I've got a good feeling that Arteta really likes him as well.
And we haven't had a player like him since we haven't had a player like his mobility and his talent like Santi Zola.
Yeah, I know. I think he's ideal to play alongside Thomas Partey. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because if we can get, again, it's all ifs and buts, but if we can get Thomas Partey, I don't think there's any smoke without fire. It's all over the media, isn't it? So there's got to be something there. And apparently his dad's come out again today. I saw on Twitter with another quote about his release clause and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And us, and whenever you Google Thomas Partey, the only team really that actually comes up on any of the Google search results is Arsenal. So
Yeah.
I say hopefully there's no smoke without fire. But anyway, if we did get someone like him, then I think we're pretty good, really. Yes, we could do with another couple of players on top. However, we wouldn't be desperate. I think that is really a big key, because if we've got quite a good midfield, then.
And Dre, I have a question for you, for both you and Ryan. Mm-hmm. Would you loan out Guendouzi?
No, I wouldn't. I think he will come on in leaps and bounds under Arteta. What do you think, Ryan?
I think under Arteta, I wouldn't. If it had been under someone else, like
exactly
names, then
exactly.
Obviously, yeah.
Same. If it was still the greasy one, I would have, because I was worried about Guendouzi, because I thought he was just learning so many bad habits that were going to be really difficult to get rid of. So I would have had no hesitation in protecting him by
You know,
loading him out. But under Arteta, I think he could really learn an awful lot and flourish. He's got so much ability, and I love the kid, but he's still got a lot to learn. So for me, he's not a first choice starter in the first 11, but I would definitely want to keep him in the squad and use him on a rotational basis and have him as a sub and give him minutes, but not every single match from the start just yet. Anyway, Tony Turner, if you get Torreira back deep and use Partey and Ceballos as two box to box, you've got a hell of a midfield. Exactly what I mean, Tony. I totally agree. I think that it would work. So it's quite mouth-watering, I think, because the way that they could complement each other with Partey's big, strong power and running ability. Ceballos, we know that hasn't got, he's not like a massive ball carrier and with bags of pace, but I don't think you need to be with someone of his type of skill. I think he's just a midfield controller, a real sort of the oil in the engine, if you like, sort of with his ability to turn really quickly, lose a player, create a bit of space, and lay a good pass off. I think it would be a really mouth-watering midfield. Just pay the effing with 42. Well, I'll say fucking. Just pay the fucking £42 million release clause. He says, and I totally agree.
and
If we can get hold of it.
Even at 42 million for someone of Partey's quality is a bargain.
It is in this day and age, even in the this financial climate. So yeah, sorry, Alonso. What
I
you
have a
saying?
question. I have another question. Would you guys, if you get Party and Ceballos stays and Tierra stays, would you all switch formations like a 4-4-2?
I would go 4-3-3 if we could get Partey straight away overnight. I think that's the only thing holding us back from doing a 4-3-3. Having a good quality midfielder in that vein. But it'd mean that Arteta would need to make some bold, brave decisions by leaving certain players out. But he's the right man to do that. I don't think he's got any issues with that whatsoever. What do you think, Ryan? What would you do if we got Partey? Would you?
The formation was the same as you. And again, I'd be confident in him making them right decisions though, in them bold, who's going to drop, who he's going to play, the rotation. I'm confident in Arteta. This is a guy who's not had any experience going into this in the sense of being the guy, coach, manager wise, and he's saying all the right things. He's making all the right choices. I don't know if you saw as well a few weeks ago an interview of him and Ian Wright, where he said,
I love that interview. It's so good.
I want people that want to be here. If I've got to convince you to stay or come, I don't want that.
He goes,
me and you know what that means, what Arsenal means to this, that, and the other.
I know but it's very sincere when it comes out. You know that it's not just it's just a load of bullshit that he's spouting out because he knows that's what we want to hear. It's nothing of that. It's all sincere stuff. You can tell that that's what he means, and that's what I really, really love about it all. But yeah, I would 100% switch to a 4-3-3, and I think long term, for me, that's what I think he wants to aim towards, but he hasn't got the players to do it just yet. But that would be, like Tony said, if you get Torreira back deep and use Partey and Ceballos, I honestly think that because of the age bracket of those players as well, because I think Partey's only 27, he's prime. So I think if you had Partey, Ceballos and Torreira, genuinely, I can't see a better midfield in the Premier League. Can you? I mean, I can't. Especially when you've got, people like Guendouzi to rotate with as well. And we're obviously not even mentioning people like, Mesut Ozil, who we've got for another year, whether we like it or not. It's a strong midfield, that is. Really good.
And I think with Arteta, you see a different Ozil as well, because I think Ozil wants to be here now. I think when Emery came and Ozil was here, or whenever Emery was here and Ozil was here, there was like a lot of
the greasy one. Sorry, the greasy one.
That's all. He was sent off with Ozil, and I think that with Emery, he knows Ozil, he knows Ozil's mannerisms. So I think Ozil is born again. I think he thrives on being happy, of course, and I think Emery has faith in Ozil where the Greasy one did not, and I think there's a lot of friction with that. I think that good times are with Ozil again. I don't know. I've always liked Ozil, and so it's just
It's a
tough, man.
difficult one. It really is a difficult one because I I would another player we haven't discussed actually, who I really really have high hopes for, and we spoke about him last week, so I'm not going to sort of dwell on him too much. But I've got so much high hopes for Emil Smith Rowe, and I would love
Yeah.
him to come in. And at the end of this year, because like I said, we've got Ozil for another year, whether we like it or not. So I would really like for Emil Smith Rowe to come in and almost be mentored. Use the last year of Mesut Ozil's contract to mentor Emil Smith Rowe in some way, really, because I think that he's the natural person to step into his role because he's got so much ability, but he's stronger, quicker, and got much more about an all-round game than Mesut Ozil ever has. I think he's got the potential to be world class. I think Emil Smith Rowe.
Do you think
He's a natural successor for Mesut Ozil. I think
do you think that he has a future in England as well?
Smith Rowe.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think he's really highly thought of by the club, and he's not. And again, I keep saying this, I keep repeating myself, but he's not at Huddersfield for any other reason than just to get his fitness back up, play against some big, real men rather than playing in the under 23s. He's purely at Huddersfield just to get his match fitness and strength built back up after injuries. So that's the only reason he's there. But he's ripping the place up, and then the fans love him. The managers who are absolutely top draw lower league managers, the brothers, what's their name? Help me out, Huddersfield guys, formerly Lincoln
Oh,
managers, the brothers
Dan and what's name?
Crowley.
Crowley, yeah.
No, Crowley, yeah. They are really good managers for him to learn from. They are very, very good tactical managers. So it's only going to be doing him the world of good. But I honestly think that Emil Smith Rowe's got the world at his feet. He's got. He didn't show his best when he had a few appearances last season because he was been carrying this injury for a long time. He never got into his stride, but don't let that put you off because there's so many fans who are far too quick to jump down these kids' throats if they don't look like world beaters from the first moment they set foot on the pitch. Then you just get slated. Oh no, he's crap. Get rid of him. He's rubbish. Send him out on loan. Blah 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 blah. Don't give him a chance. So just give this kid a chance, and I promise you, he's going to be special. So I would really like him actually to be the successor to Mesut Ozil. I wouldn't actually advocate going out and buying, a really expensive player to replace him. Someone like a Grealish or whatever, it'd be great, it'd be lovely. But I feel passionately about Emil Smith Rowe coming into the team for a long term role, and I don't want to put too many obstacles in his way, especially people that haven't got the right attitude and love for the club. Carroll said, Emil Smith Rowe said there is nothing better for him than to play for Arsenal. And he's been at the club since he was a little nipper. It's going to be very, very special to have all these academy graduates around the first team squad. You can't. It's that bond that they've all created together. Watch each other growing up in the ranks, and if they can all sort of be in and around the first team at the same time, they're all going to be so positive, and you can't buy that sort of experience. So, very, very exciting. We screwed up by not loaning Emil Smith Rowe back to Leipzig again this year. It would have been great. But I don't think he was ready at the beginning of the year. Was that right, Tony? I think he might have still been injured last summer. I don't think he was ready to go back out. Maybe I'm wrong. It feels like years ago now, last beginning of this season. Have you seen much of the videos of him that have been doing the rounds, Emil Smith Rowe's highlights at Huddersfield this year? Ryan?
Yeah, bits and pieces I have, yeah. Now, this has been out there. From what I can make out, he has been doing what we need him to do in the sense of getting game time. He's putting in man in the match performances,
Yeah.
and the Huddersfield fans themselves, they're loving him.
Absolutely. And like I said, he's playing against seasoned professionals, very experienced guys in the Championship. It's probably one of the world's toughest leagues to get out of, isn't it? The Championship, and they've been fighting for their lives in Huddersfield. Because when the Crowley brothers took over, they were absolutely. Bearing in mind they were a Premier League team last year. They were rock bottom of the league, weren't they, when they took over? So they've been battling for their lives since he's been there, and he has shone, and that says a lot about his character and his talent, obviously. But I don't think, like I say, he was still injured, Tony says. I don't think we could have gone back to Leipzig this year because of that. But it's good that he's been playing week in, week out at Huddersfield. Would he have played every single match at Leipzig? I'm not sure. I don't know. He may have done. But if he didn't, if he'd gone back out there again and hardly played, that would have been even worse. So I'm glad that he's playing each week.
And did he go on loan this winter, or was it last summer?
He went. He went in the winter window this year.
Okay.
1st January, went to Huddersfield.
So was it a 6 month loan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was at Leipzig last season, but he got injured and missed pretty much the whole season. I think near enough. I don't think he played hardly any games at all, which is a real shame. And obviously, with the manager that they've got, he would have learnt an awful lot. But I wouldn't underestimate those Crowley brothers, because I think they're really good tactical managers as well. They've done exceptionally well. Their rise has been in the mould of Chris Wilder, isn't it? And with what they've done. So I think he's in good hands.
Didn't we beat the Crowley brothers Lincoln a couple of years ago in the FA Cup, or was it Carling Cup, or the League Cup?
Yeah, we did. I mean, they were at. They got Lincoln out of the conference, didn't they, into League Two, and then immediately from League Two into League One. I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah, immediately.
So it's been a couple of years ago, right? So we played them.
We did, yeah. I'm sure we did.
FA Cup, FA Cup, not last season, the 2017 season.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had
League Two, were they? I think at that point.
I think Theo scored that game, and so did Permanent Soccer scored that game. If I'm not mistaken, or it was a center back that scored a game in that game. I forgot who it was. And Wilcott scored, and I forgot who else. But they were quite enthusiastic. The brothers were.
Yeah.
Well, they were League Two then, not last season. The season before, they would have been a League Two team.
League Two just about to go into League One, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow.
There's no mean feat what they've done, so I think he's in good hands with them anyway. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all the questions. Have you got anything else you'd like to go through, either of you two, quickly before we go? Because I think we've been going an hour and a half, so we might as well start wrapping up.
Do we have time to go through the predictions on the format and the league and the lineup?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
All right, we give our own lineups, what we would do, not what we think that Arteta would do. Is that right? Is that what you want to do?
Right.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Because it's going to be very difficult to guess, but if we give our own options, what we would do ourselves, yeah. So you go first then, Alonso.
All right, I'll start with Leno at goalkeeper. I'll go Bellerin. I will go Murray. I will go Luis, and I'll go Tierney. In midfield, I will go with Xhaka, Ceballos, and Ozil. And 3 up top, I will go Pepe, Aubameyang, and Saka. Oh no, yeah.
Fair play. So you go 4-3-3.
It's
Very attacking lineup. I like it. I think might get a bit exposed with the City midfield, but go toe to toe with him. You never know what's going to happen, do you? What about you, Ryan? What would your lineup be?
Leno in goal, Hector right back, Mari Louise, Kian Tierney. In midfield, I would have. It'd have to it'd be Ceballos and Lucas Torreira.
Is he available though? Because
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I
think
don't
he
think
is.
he's played. Yeah, I don't know whether he's 100% ready to start. Torreira. I don't think is he. I don't know whether he played today, but he didn't play against Charlton. I don't think he's quite ready because he had a broke. Obviously, he's still recovering from that broken leg, isn't he? I don't know
Oh,
whether he's match fit.
well, if he's not available, then obviously you have to put Xhaka in his place, and then they'll go Mesut, Pepe, Saka or Martinelli. I'm not wide way made up on the left side, and Aubameyang down the middle.
Hmm.
And because that come off the second half. Come on in second half. Or Eddie or something
I
like that.
think. I think.
Or
I
both.
think you've actually. I think I would do. I think you've actually chosen a team I would do. I would have the same back four, same goalkeeper, obviously, and with our current squad, I think I would stick to what he was playing before, which is the 4-2-3-1. I would have. I'm going to say that Torreira isn't going to be ready, so unfortunately I'll play Xhaka and Ceballos.
Mm.
Then in front of them, I would have. I don't know whether I'd start I think I would start Martinelli, funnily enough, and have Saka on the bench, which is a strange thing to have. It's very tough to choose between those two.
Yeah.
We're quite lucky in that respect, but I'll definitely bring on Saka. But I think I would start Martinelli, and then Aubameyang through the middle, Pepe on the right, and Özil in a sort of the 10 role. But
Yeah.
I've got a good feeling about Pepe finishing the season really well as well. You know, I think I don't think there's any. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if you noticed that Arsenal have been putting out a lot of videos about Pepe, saying "Happy Pepe, Happy Arsenal" or things like that. And here's a little montage of Pepe's amazing skills in training.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
It came out today, actually.
Yeah,
They had free kicks and stuff like that.
I don't think they'd be doing that for any other reason of the fact that he seems in really good spirits and he actually seems like he's really sharp. I don't know, maybe reading too much into it, but
We'll find out next Wednesday.
I mean, I really like Pepe anyway. I won't be
Yeah.
surprised to see him, but I really would love to see him finish the season with a flourish. Really, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it? A fully firing Pepe, because if you can't see the skill that guy's got, I don't know whether you should be watching football. To be perfectly honest, you know, he's so talented. So yeah, I hope that this period of time that you know during the shutdown that he's been able to sort of settle in a lot more. I might see the best of him. I do think that that Arteta's going to do something different now, and I'm wondering whether he's going to start Nketiah, have Aubameyang left, and Pepe right, have Nketiah through the middle. You know, I won't be surprised. And Lacazette on the bench. So I really do think that you can't underestimate. And I wouldn't even be surprised actually if he had Aubameyang left and Nketiah through the middle, Nelson on the right instead of Pepe as well. I wouldn't be surprised with that either. I don't know what you guys think, but he loves Nketiah. He clearly loves Nelson
Beast as well.
Yeah.
I think either way, they're starting at pace, which is always good against Manchester City.
Yeah, and Nelson supposedly works harder than Pepe. However, I think that Pepe's work rate was quite underrated before the shutdown. I don't know what some people were watching because I've seen Pepe. I mean, when I went to the last time I went to the Emirates was the Newcastle game. He was working hard and he was back at the right back slot quite a lot. You know, I don't know if you guys noticed it as well, but he works back more than people think. Anyway, I know he's not well known for that, but I do think that he gets slated for not working hard enough when he does do a lot more than he's given credit for. But yeah, to finish off then, what's your predicted scoreline? Ryan, I'll go to you first.
Well, I've been
Tough to
I'm gonna
say.
stick
I
to
know.
it.
I know. I won't hold you
I've been
to it,
stick,
but
I've been sticking to it, so I'm going to stick with it now. 3-1 Arsenal,
wow. Well,
just because
well up you up.
we've got something to fight for. They haven't domestically. They haven't got anything to fight for. They could lose
No,
their Champions League spot as well.
I
So
mean,
we've
let's
got that.
face it.
We've got that to fight for.
They may as well be mid-table, mightn't they? Really.
Mm.
You know, they're going to get top four,
It's top
but
roles.
they're probably not
We're
going to
top
get
roles.
Europe
Yeah.
anyway. Exactly. Yeah, it's weird. They're in a weird situation. They're still in the FA Cup.
Mm.
Got to be probably favourites for that because I don't. You know, have they lost a cup game domestically for about 15 years? I don't think they have they? I mean, they must have lost one actually because we've won 4 FA Cups, but 3 FA Cups, I should say. Now, what's your predicted score, Alonso?
I think it's a shootout. I think it'll be 3-2 to Arsenal.
3-2, did you say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'll be I think the players want to score. I think that and they're rusty, so they had to something to prove. And they're both attacking teams. Well, well, hope they'll be attacking. I think that it'll be it's a big game. Um, so I think people want to go for glory more than
Yeah.
the usual game.
Very good. I've been consistent all the way through. I don't think we'll lose. I think that my heart of hearts, I will go for Man City 1, Arsenal 2. It'll be quite tight, but I'm really confident that we won't lose. So,
Mm.
Carol, do you know what? I've completely forgotten to talk about Willock. I'm not going to go through it in this episode now because we've obviously been going on for far too long. But Willock, I also get so frustrated about all the criticism he gets as well. I love Joe Willock. I really think Joe Willock is a great player. I can't see
Good
him
result,
at the
though.
moment in his current. I don't know the way that he is at the moment. I think he'd be a fantastic player to bring on, especially with the 5 subs situation. Give him the last 20 minutes. He also has got one knack which you cannot teach, and that is just to get in the box exactly at the right time. And you see that's the goal he scored against Charlton. He's quite typical of Joe Willock, I think. I think he's a really good player in the making. He is one player who would be ideal to actually send out on loan next season, potentially, or maybe for 6 months. But again, when I say that, I am really keen at the same time, so I'm quite torn for those players to get the training and the coaching from Mikel Arteta. I think it's going to be so valuable to them. So I'm quite torn on it. But if there's any one of them that maybe would be worth sending out, I think it's Joe Willock. But I really, really want to keep hold of him. So I think I see good things for him in the future as well. Carol says she is predicting 2-2. I'll be quite happy with that as well, Carol. Tony, don't forget the FA Cup win also gets us into the group stages of the Europa, which is, consolation prize. I really want to go all out for every single game between now and the end of the season anyway. So I think that going out of Europe the way we did against Olympiacos now, I think that's done us a massive favour. Because the way that the European competition is at the moment, with if it can go ahead, which it seems like it is all going to go ahead, with no fans in the stadium anyway, and I couldn't see anything more depressing. Being in the latter stages of the Europa League with no crowd as well. Jesus, could it get any more depressing? So I'm not going to be sad at all to miss that. But yeah, I really hope we have a good run in the FA Cup to get to the final at least and finish the season strongly, because it will be great impetus to going into next season, won't it? So we'll leave it there then. Alonso, it's been great to have you back on again.
Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure.
Take care, bro.
Yeah, so you too. Take
Keep
care, Ryan.
safe.
And you,
See
mate.
you again soon, mate. And Ryan, thanks again. Really good having you on tonight. And
Appreciate the invite.
yeah, no problem at all, mate. No problem. And hopefully we'll pod together again very soon on yours or back on here, whatever. Either way.
Yeah, well, what's the plan for next week as well?
Well, next week, actually, yeah, I'll just quickly announce. Thank you to everyone watching as well, by the way. I really appreciate all of you. Now, next week, we've got a couple of really exciting shows. Well, at least one exciting show, I should say. I can't guarantee the other one. But we have got, I haven't announced it yet. I gave a little bit of a hint yesterday on Twitter, but I'm really excited to say next week we've got one of the best guitarists the UK has ever produced in Bernard Butler coming on the show on Tuesday. Former guitarist of Suede, McAlmont and Butler, amongst other things. But yeah, very, very legendary guitarist. He's going to be on alongside the fantastic Francis Leach, who is the radio presenter from Australia, who's got incredible background in football and music. Big Gooner as well. He was recently on the Arsecast. You may well have heard that episode where he was on that hilarious guy. And also Tayo Papula is going to be on the show as well. So 3 fantastic guests all on the same show. Tayo is back with the Tuesday Club. I don't know if you guys have been listening to the Tuesday Club podcast with Alan Davis as well. It was running for years. It went missing for about 2 years. It's now back and it's absolutely hilarious. It's so good. So definitely dig that out. It's on all your major podcast platforms now again. Look out for the Tuesday Club. And then on the Wednesday for the match, if anyone listening, anyone watching is worried about this business of piped in fan noise and don't really like the sound of it, but you still also want to have that bit of atmosphere, we're going to be doing a live watch along, but with a bit of a difference really. We're not going to be sitting there. We're not going to be to analyse the game. We're not going to be trying to commentate on the game. Far from it. We're just going to be watching. There's going to be a group of, I think, maybe 6 of us watching the match, just chatting to each other as if we're all together watching the match, having a beer, and creating that bit of banter, bit of crowd noise for you all to watch along with, and then hopefully we can all create that sort of little bit of an atmosphere where we're all watching it together. We'll still have all the comments on. We can still interact via the comments section, and hopefully we can generate that fan atmosphere ourselves without being too sort of analytical about it. So yeah, hopefully we'll join into the shows next week. I might be doing another podcast on Friday to go through a few more bits and pieces to do with the '89 season, how that panned out. George Graham, the changes that he made to the team when he came into the club before that, and how it mirrors this particular situation we're in now, and how we can use that '89 experience and the rebuilding of the team that George Graham did to help us now as well. So I might be doing a short podcast about that on Friday as well. So keep your eyes peeled. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And if you're listening to the audio versions, please follow the podcast and give us a 5-star review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. That'd be really grateful. Once again, thanks Ryan. Thanks Alonso. Speak to you both soon. Thanks to everyone watching. And yeah, up the Arsenal.